Greetings Game Watchers, I'm Chris Capel and welcome to the review of The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Right, you've waited long enough. The Witcher 3 is great. So great in fact that if any game between now and December challenges it for my Game of the Year choice, I will eat my wolf medallion. If you like RPGs, there is absolutely no reason you should be missing out on CD Projekt's magnum opus. Right, now we've got the verdict out of the way early, I can start on the actual review. It's not a long time after the events of The Witcher 2 Assassins of Kings, and the world is in chaos. After the death of King Foltest in the last game, the kingdom of Temeria has fallen into ruin, and the northern kingdoms have again been invaded by the Empire of Nilfgaard. Into this mess rides the Witcher, Geralt of Rivia, now with his memories fully intact, searching not only for his lost love Yennefer, but also for his adopted daughter Ciri. It won't be easy, however, as Ciri's prophesied power has many parties seeking her, not least the monstrous spectral forces of the terrifying mythical Wild Hunt. The story in the Witcher games has always been good, but it's the world and the side stories within it that always prove much more compelling. The same is true of The Witcher 3. The central story involving Geralt's search for Ciri takes many interesting turns, usually involving a familiar character from previous games or even the books, and it's definitely told with more conviction and drama than every other open world RPG you can name, although at the end of the day, the plot's still just a means to an end, to get the player around the world and meet all the characters. But what a world and characters they are. CD Projekt have always revelled in their recreation of Andrzej Sapkowski's excellent fantasy novels, and have done a wonderful job in portraying them. All the characters are great, but it's Geralt of Rivia who should draw the accolades for being so damn subtle, seeming to the uninitiated like yet another gruff-voiced male gaming protagonist. For someone supposedly dead to emotions, Geralt's straight man act is full of emotion. He's also hugely funny, like when he's being forced to act in a bad play or being stunned by a man who walks out of the room to get his sister and comes back in wearing a dress and bad makeup. Things can get pretty dark in the world of The Witcher, but there's always some genuinely funny moments to balance things out. What The Witcher games have always done way better than other RPGs is the player's ability to reshape the story based on their decisions. I'm going to hold my hands up and say without a second playthrough of The Witcher 3 I can't judge whether things change as cataclysmically as they did in The Witcher 2, but I will say that after 10 hours after insulting a priest, armed guards ambushed me and tried to kill me on his orders. Or how I got a village full of orphan children I just played hide and seek with killed because I didn't trust a tree. Or how a woman I saved in the first few hours in the game was rather ungrateful about it and accused me of murder in front of a crowded pub 20 hours of gameplay later. These are all minor examples and they're everywhere in The Witcher 3. You really feel like you're the one calling the shots in the story, and even a mistake can be satisfying, just because you know it was your fault. The heart of why The Witcher 3 is so good though is three-pronged. The choice consequence system is one, the second is the large open world, which is truly satisfying to explore. Whether sticking to roads or heading out into the wilderness, there's always something to capture interest. It's just as wonderful when you get to the city of Novigrad and you realise you can spend tens of hours just doing quests there. It's not perfect admittedly, unlike Skyrim you can reach the edge of the world and be forced to turn back, and you can't just hop in a boat and sail to the Skellige Isles, but I can't imagine I'll ever stop enjoying my exploration. The third is something that many RPGs get wrong, the quests. Take Dragon Age Inquisition for example. I love that game, but far too many of the quests in it are dull or don't tell a good story. Let me compare goat tracking quests. In Dragon Age you run about an area searching for a goat, lure it back to its owner, then get money and XP. That's it, quest completed. In Witcher 3, Geralt uses his Witcher senses to hunt the goat through a wood, gets attacked by a bear, then lures it back to its owner. This questline then expands to involve ghosts, rituals, swamp monsters, cults, and patricide. It's a hell of a lot more interesting. In many other RPGs, quests can feel like grinds to get XP or money, but in The Witcher 3, nearly every mission is a huge epic adventure where things never turn out the way you expect. If there is one area though where your enjoyment of the game will live or die, it's the combat. It's mostly the same as The Witcher 2 Enhanced Edition's combat with a few further tweaks. There's fast and strong attacks, parry, roll, a new dodge button, items including potions, bombs and a crossbow, and Geralt's signs. All these need to be used effectively and practiced constantly to survive, and it can be a little frustrating if you push dodge instead of roll and end up squashed by a bear or set on fire by an ifrit. In general, the combat though is pretty satisfying, and it's utterly wonderful to shoot a flying enemy like a griffin with a crossbow just as they're swooping down and watch as they crash to the ground. That said, the range of moves and abilities do make things rather difficult to play on PC with mouse and keyboard. On a gamepad, moves are combined, like the interact button turning into a roll button during combat, but on keyboard they're all separate, and it makes things rather confusing. Consequently, after 10 hours with a keyboard, I gave my Xbox 360 pad a go and I haven't looked back. The Witcher 3 is a game that's clearly been intended for a gamepad, or at least the combat has. You can play with keys, but it's a lot more fiddly. Nevertheless, I'm still grateful that CD Projekt allow players to flawlessly move between keyboard and gamepad at will. While we're mentioning problems, should I bother talking about the graphics? Most of the internet seems to be jumping down CD Projekt's throat regarding the downgrade controversy, but I will not be doing any jumping, as I don't see anything less than gorgeous about the graphics. It looks insanely lovely, and I don't even have any frame rate problems at all. Take that, Ubisoft. Personally though, I'm happier with the much improved voice acting than I am with the graphics, although those sunsets do look beautiful. So barring the slightly annoying keyboard controls, are there any problems of note with The Witcher 3? A few, but they're literally minor grievances that I'll list and be done with. Yes, there are still a few bugs here and there, but I only encountered ones of the amusing variety. The levelling system is a little too simplistic for my taste, and I prefer the multi-path one from The Witcher 2. The map is much improved from that game, but it still doesn't show everything you need, and it only tracks the quest you're on. You could be standing right next to an objective and you wouldn't know it unless you go to the quest page and track it manually yourself. My last annoyance is kind of a deeper problem with open world games. The Witcher 3 gives you every quest at once, rather than the scaling difficulty of Skyrim or the way Dragon Age withholds quests until you're high enough in level to accomplish them. Consequently, when I was level 4, I had a level 33 Witcher contract on my quest page, which is just ridiculous. I don't like cluttering my quest page up with impossible tasks, and it's a little annoying encountering seemingly basic enemies that are actually invincible because of some random red skull hovering over their heads rather than how they look. If I go after a giant in Dragon Age Inquisition, I know I'll be in for a challenge, but in The Witcher 3 I can get the same from a few grubby bandits. Those niggles aside, The Witcher 3 The Wild Hunt is an absolute triumph, and the best open world RPG around. Maybe even the best altogether. The main story stays interesting, the side stories are better than the main plots of most entire games, the characters and writing are wonderful, and the acting is massively improved from the last two games. Then we start talking about the open world, the graphics, the deep and involving quests, how Geralt's beard grows over time, Charles' dance, all the delightful nudity. I could list great things about this game for hours, and I haven't even mentioned playing Ciri and the awesome moveset she has. Yes, the combat feels more at home on a gamepad, the map's still not perfect, and you'll get some quests 100 gameplay hours before you'll even be able to attempt them, but these are the worst things about The Witcher 3, and they're minor irritants at best. I said it at the beginning, and I'll say it again. If you're an RPG fan, you cannot miss out on this game, and it could well be my game of the year come year's end. I gave The Witcher 3 a stellar 9.5. Thanks for watching everyone, Chris Capel and GameWatcher out, and I'll be getting back to the game now, thanks, bye bye! If you enjoyed the review, you can help us out by subscribing to our YouTube channel, checking out our Twitter feed, and of course visiting GameWatcher.com for all your PC gaming needs.